Hey everyone, Mr. Fugay. For our video, we're going to talk about the trig ratio review warm-up. So we're going to go over the answers. So hopefully, as you're watching this video, you've already taken some time to try this problem out. And regardless of how well or comfortable you feel with it, I want you to walk through the steps with me now so that we have the process down of how to be given a trig ratio and work backwards to find the others. So let's start with the idea that they gave us the cosine of theta ratio. So this is going to be our important number that we need to develop and use. And we're going to draw a picture to help us visualize what's going on. Want to remind you that the cosine, by definition, is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a picture. We're going to draw a right triangle. I'm going to put my right angle, and then I like to typically put my theta down here. I would recommend doing that. If you had done it up top, obviously check your work at the end here, and you can still get it correct. What this tells me is essentially that this side over here is my opposite, this side is my hypotenuse, and this side is my adjacent. And the reason why that's so important to label that is because, well, the 2 root 10 is going to be my adjacent side. So we'll go ahead and write 2 root 10. And then the 11 is going to be considered my hypotenuse, so we'll put the 11 there. Therefore, this opposite side over here, which I'll call it x, is the missing side we need to do. So step number one here is we need to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out this missing side. And so my Pythagorean theorem will tell me I'll take the 2 root 10. Make sure you put that in parentheses. That's extremely, extremely important. Plus x squared equals 11 squared. All right, so now we got to type this in our calculator. And so I'm actually going to use the Desmos scientific calculator to do those. And let me just pull that up right now. Get the link for this on my Canvas page, but it really is just desmos.com/scientific. All right, so we'll go parentheses 2 square root 10. We'll then, I have to move the right arrow to get it outside of the radical, close the parenthesis, and then square it. And you can see that I'm getting 40 for that. So I'll go ahead and press enter so I have that on the screen. And then we also need to get 11 squared. That's 121. All right, so we have 40 and we have 121. So let's write those down. So 40 plus x squared equals 121. We'll subtract 40 from both sides. And if I believe that's actually going to give me 81. We'll go ahead and take the square root of both sides. And x here is going to equal, now you might see this, or you might know what this answer is, but if you don't, you can of course put that in here. So let's go square root 81, and there it is. It comes out as 9. So my missing side here was 9. So that means I can erase that x and put a 9 there instead. And this now is going to open the door for the last part of this warm-up, and that is to find the other 5 ratios. Now, before we go and find sine and tangent, I want to mention that if you already know cosine, we didn't have to do any of this other work to figure out secant, because secant is just going to be the reciprocal of cosine. So the answer for this would literally just be 11 over 2 square root of 10. And that's it. That's all that's going to be. Now, let's talk about the remainder. So sine is the, let's write SOHCAHTOA real quick just to remind ourselves. So we have SOHCA and then TOA. So sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite was 9, hypotenuse was 11. Boom. Remember that cosecant then is the reciprocal, so that would just be 11 over 9. And then lastly, we have tangent. Tangent is opposite over the adjacent, so that would be 9 over 2 square root 10. And our cotangent, once again, is the reciprocal, so it's going to be 2 root 10 over 9. So we're going to use this process in today's lesson, which is what you're going to do next. And in that lesson, we're going to look at this same type of problem, except we're going to put it on the coordinate plane. So there's 1 or 2 other little variables that I need to discuss with you in the lesson, but the main math you're doing today is the same that we just did here, Pythagorean theorem, and then filling out the ratios using SOHCAHTOA to finish the problem. That's it. Hopefully this checks out for you, and thank you for watching.